Welcome to FREKS Knows Best. It's time to ingest, and I have my boy, Mr. James Foxx, in the house. What you saying, brother?
So you're not just a saxophone player, you do a little bit of rhyming as well, yeah?
Bro, if we want to go back, if we want to start the conversation like that, bro, yeah, back in the days, man used to think he was an MC. Like, everyone did. As soon as garage came on the scene, everyone thought they were like MCs. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember this crew 100%. Of us, absolute crew of us, we used to just follow our mate, DJ Paulie Smalls, and we used to just go around there.
Big up Paulie Smalls.
Big up Paulie Smalls. He knows. Hopefully he's listening. And we used to go around there, go around to his house, and all we did was stand around the mic, waiting for the drop. Everyone wanted the drop and all that. Everyone had these. I'm not even going to embarrass myself with the lyrics, man, but they're there. And my mates, anytime we have a party, everyone chants my lyrics, mate. So one day you might get to hear that, brother. But obviously,
there's always a mic in my booth for you. Don't worry about that.
So do you have a studio set up in your place?
For DJing, no. For production, I've literally just put one together. So and I nearly didn't eat at Christmas because of it. It was so expensive.
Oh man, bro, totally.
That's something we'll probably get onto later in terms of what's coming in the future and that. But that's the next step for me is the whole production thing. So
yeah, it's funny because I've been into the production stuff since I was at college. I joined a course. Well, you would say a course. It was like called the Popular Music course. It's probably one of the best times of my what would you say, educational days, because
absolutely
we just go in there, and we're pretty much high and write music. Like, everyone had a computer set up, and back in my days, and that's going to show my age, like, to have a PC and to be able to write a tune on it was like unheard of. Everyone had to go and pay for time in the studio, you know? So I kind of like was representing a generation of bedroom music. And me and my mate Rob, we put a kind of like a double act together, and we called ourselves B4W, was standing for Between Four Walls. And that was because we thought, wow, we're doing something totally new here. We're representing a generation of bedroom music, you know? But, bro, we were working with something which didn't have power steering. Like, everything was a ball ache, man. Like, just even to get a sample, you had to use floppy disks, trying to get a sound. But, bro, I was so uneducated, didn't have the internet, so I didn't have YouTube videos, had manuals, or the Sound on Sound magazine, where you're flicking through all this equipment. There's so much out there. You don't know where to go, mate. So everything was trial and error. But, mate, you're going to have a lot of fun building your stuff, man. Is there any direction you want to go with that, like, equipment-wise?
God, I mean, I hate to disclose what I've got because my bank manager might be listening. But literally, I've just... I went through the whole setup. So I bought a new Mac. I bought a new keyboard. I bought a new sampler, screens. I laid a fair few bags. But, you know, it's an investment into the future, and it's something which I'm highly passionate about, and I actually think it's going to be the most fruitful part of my journey moving forward, even more so than DJing, which I absolutely love. But,
yeah. Well, invest to progress, man. 100%.
I'm sure as we go along today, we're probably going to find out that we're of a similar age anyway. Because,
oh, brother, I
know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm not. My listeners will know my age. I think obviously a lot are going to be my mates, so they know. And literally, a lot of people are shocked by when I do mention to them, especially being out in gigs. People come up to you like, when you tell them your age, they just look at you like, what? And I hate to be the cliche, but I always say, black don't. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. So look, brother, what have you been up to this weekend? Anything guaning? It's January, so I don't know what's happening in January.
Yeah. I was going to say it's a pretty slow one, January, for DJing and stuff, but I've done a few. But I'm very active on the bar scene. As you know, that like one of my abiding memories of 2023 was collapsing Eyes on You for the first time before my set in Sushi Samba up in Heron Tower, 39th floor. Big up to all the Casa de Samba crew.
Yeah, man,
and
big up.
Instantly, I looked at you and I was like, I hope I get to perform with this guy tonight. And we did. And it was an absolutely fantastic night. One that lives long in the memory. One that still serves such a massive part of my social media, even to today. like 6, 7 months later, some of the biggest views in videos I've got are of me on the decks, you on the sax, and Creola doing her magical Brazilian dancing on the stage. So yeah, yeah.
Bro.
Great memories, great memories.
And you know what? You just jogged my memory with that as well, because there's no way I'm going to forget us playing together. But I just remember before we played together, I think you were sitting to the right on the table, and I was clocking you. And I remember you were sitting with two people. I can't remember who they were, but I remember clocking you. And obviously you were acknowledging. So I didn't know what you were. I didn't know you DJ or you're someone just vibing. So I'm always kind of trying to clock the room. But when you got on the decks, something was telling me, like, in some strange way, it was like, I knew it. There was a vibe with that guy. That guy seems to, and I felt excited because I thought, I get this real connection with DJs. If there's a vibe and an energy on a spiritual level, I'm just like, let's go. If you're ready to go, I'm ready. If you play that tune and you really give me that hype, you give me that look in the eyes, like, go for it, I'm gone, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's one particular video that stood in my mind. I think I played Kenny Dope and the Bucketheads, These Sounds Fall Into My Mind, which is just an iconic track.
Big tune.
And you just went hammer and tongue at it, and I just thought, yeah. And I think my friend pans to the crowd, and everyone's going wild, and I was just like, great times. And
I've used that because you've used it in your social. I've done it in videos. So many videos, just you at the end there, just pointing at me like and doing the hands.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think we're in a day and age now where I see we grew up in the same era where I would go to the club and no one would even look at the DJ. You would acknowledge who it is, even if it was a big name, or if he dropped a great tune, you'd be like like that. But now it's like everybody's front and center, everybody's cameras pointing in your face, and I'm like, nah. This is the guy. Look, give him his flowers, So.
Big up, brother.
I'm always quick to pay good attention to everybody that's around me and everyone who's taking part in the vibe.
Do you know what, bro? That's the best thing about this gig. So like our kind of, it's not even work. I hate to even say it's work.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
I hate calling it work as well.
And my mates hate me because they're like, well, when's your next job? I said, it ain't really a job, mate. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause I'm doing something I enjoy. It hasn't always been like this. It's been a journey just to get to this position.
Absolutely.
But it's been nice to be there, and then obviously to share things with people like yourself and create moments. I think for me, they're the ones which we're really lucky to be able to kind of create those moments for people and ourselves at the same time. And then the bonus of getting paid for it, bro, as well. And sending out a vibe and energy. Because you think about where we came from. Like, it was a pretty dark time. Like, COVID, man. Like, for me as a musician, probably you yourself as a DJ or whatever, everyone. It was a dark time, but I know the music side got kicked hard. I was driving for my mate's construction company called Lionhead Construction. And I was driving a tipper truck. And I was questioning things. Now, big up to them because thank God I had some work. But I was questioning things because obviously the amount I earn in a week there, I could earn in a night.
Exactly.
And the grind, and I moved down to Brighton when it was lockdown, bro. And I had to commute all the way to Welwyn Garden City.
Wow.
Which is, But I didn't do that daily. I moved down here. I'll stay about 2 days, the weekend, down in Brighton. Then I go up, do the work, stay at my mum's, commute back and forth, and then come back Friday. It was crazy. And I knew, as soon as the doors opened, I knew there was going to be a tsunami of gigs, bro. I just had this feeling. I thought, and I had this build up. I just joined these agencies, and just as I joined the agency, everything locked down. But they were coming. I knew they were still there waiting, and I knew there'd be like people who missed out on birthdays, weddings. So many people, like my closest. She was supposed to get married, but COVID came in. So there's a lot of that, and I knew there'd be backlog. And I'll tell you now, bro, I'm feeling humble, and I'm totally blessed. It's been non-stop, man, bro. It's been
definitely
non-stop.
Gives you a perspective. It definitely gives. I was actually living abroad at the time. I lived in the Philippines for about 2.5 years, which is a whole nother story altogether. And I was actually in the fitness industry then. So again, freelance industry, completely got hammered. There was no such furlough either, thing as furlough over there. So I took a massive hammering. But I think everything happens for a reason. I was always going into the music industry at some stage, but I feel like I'm in the best place now for it. And as you said, it just every day you're grateful for what we have, and moments like we shared last year are just
100.
you know, you can't put a price on that, really.
Man,
You can't
look,
put a price
this
on
is
it.
why we're doing the podcast now, bro, because of that moment.
Yeah.
You know, because this is new. I'm going to explain to the listeners. This is like new for me. And I thought it'd be a great way to connect with people like yourself, DJs, performers, and kind of for people to get to know who I am, who you are, because all they see on social media, we're having the best time, bro.
Yeah.
That's it.
True.
But there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that people don't quite understand. Like I can understand, well, I can explain. There's sometimes a lot of stress when I'm going on my own to a wedding that I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
And you've got to put on this game face. You know,
Absolutely.
you don't know what you kind of have an idea what you want to play, but you don't know the audience. So
Yeah.
I have like multiple playlists. So I'm ready. Because if I'm solo, I have multiple playlists. If I'm with a DJ, they love working with me without me sounding big headed because I'm just like, play whatever you want. I'll make it work.
Yeah.
You know, don't worry about me. I'll clock the tune in about 5 seconds. And with this, I'm going to make sure I'm out there, make sure everyone's having a good time and vibing and all that. So
It comes with experience, doesn't it? That
yeah,
it does come with a wealth of experience. That's when people say, "What do DJs do? What do musicians?" I'll tell you what we do. We have a wealth of knowledge about what a crowd wants to listen to at any given moment, and you can suss a groove out within 2 or 3 tracks. Or like you say, you've got different sets for different strokes for different folks, so you can instantly tell where something needs to be dropped in and how to bring the mood of the day or the night along, you know?
yeah, bro. And I think
Such an underrated skill.
man, if you're not connected with your audience, the room, and then it's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be a flat
Absolutely.
night. I've seen it, bro, and you've witnessed it in different ways. But I think that's why ourselves work so well because you know the right music, and I'm just gonna put that cherry on the top just to give everyone that.
Oh, it was more than a cherry.
They,
It was the icing, it was the top layer, the cherry, the candles, the fireworks, the lot.
yeah, man, bro, but it's funny, isn't it? It's, I mean, I love doing that and creating those moments. I've hit some moments where I hit that high, and I even look back because I look back at the DJ like, did you just feel what I just felt? And most of the DJs look at me like, yeah, I felt that. And I'm like, I don't know where that come from. I don't do that all the time, but it takes 2 to tango. It's like you need a dancing partner for that to work, you know? When I look at my saxophone, like, and the way I've been playing from the beginning of lockdown, and I was just learning this craft with like being solo and working with agencies, because when I started the sax, I never thought I was going down this path, playing along to DJs. But I think it was, who was it? It was a certain label started busting sax over Funky House, and used to get the CDs of it back in the day. I can't remember the name, but anyway,
Is it Head Candy?
Head Candy, that's the one. Head Candy, right? So that's when you first started to hear a little bit of that. Then there was all these tracks were coming with saxo beat and all that, and people started getting familiar with it and all that. But still, it took my mate Carl on DJ to kind of say, "Do you want to have a go over a house beat?" And I was like a little bit. So when I first started playing, I was just doing beep, boop, because I was just a little bit like, I didn't want to do too much.
Yeah.
And then, bro, like over the years and years, something just clicked with me, like clocking, hearing the music, and my fingers just know what to do.
Absolutely.
I can't explain it, bro. It's like I hear the track, and my fingers just go into position. Now, if I try to work out and look at what they're all doing, I'll mess up. Yeah. Everything's become instinctive. Now, as yourself as a DJ. Yeah. But as yourself as a DJ, it all comes down to instincts. Am I right? Or
absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Sometimes I don't even look at the decks.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen, and I hate to kind of lay, you know, people down on the ground, but I've seen so many DJs come into rooms and just crumble because they're too fixated on the equipment and they're not feeling it properly. I don't know whether that comes down to education. I don't know whether that comes down to having too many visual attributes on modern equipment, but I learned on vinyl back in the late 90s and it was all here. You know, you don't you don't listen to music with your eyes. You listen to it with your ears and your heart.
Yeah, bro.
So,
I like that.
Like you say, you feel like, oh my God, like if I look at this, I'm done. And I feel the same way. If I'm continuously fixated by what's in front of me on the screen, I can't perform. It's just all instinct and touch and groove, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
completely understand where you're coming from.
I'm going to give you this one, right? Because I'm not sure if you believe this is real or if I'm being honest or anything like that. But I've come across a DJ, right? That I've watched. I'm not going to mention their names. And they
do
just...
it off camera later.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that. The guy didn't move to the beat. I couldn't understand it. The guy just did not move to the beat. Like, would stand still, just look down, do the mix. Head not tapping, shoulders not bopping, no smiles. And it totally confused me. I've never come across that. I'm not sure if that's quite normal. That's their thing. But crowd needs to bounce off your energy, bro. And that's what
100%.
you have, bro. That's the thing. Like, if I'm picking it up and I'm like, without like sending out a little claim to the old Star Wars and that, but I'm force sensitive, brother, when it comes to vibes, right? I can feel that sense in the air. And you had a vibe, bro, before you even got on the decks. Damn, I'm thinking, who's that cat just sitting there, man? He's got a vibe, man. I wonder if he's going to get up and start, like, busting some two-step, you know what I mean, and vibing, man, because I'm just going to bounce off him. His energy's going to keep me rolling, bro. But then you get on the decks, and that was like, now that was the icing on the top and the cherry, bro.
Yeah.
You got on the decks, it was like, boom. So
it just all came together, didn't it, in that moment?
Yeah,
and
I love that. I love that. Casa December, bro. Shout out to Casa December. Shout out to my girls, Charlotte and Fallon. Them girls, man, what they've done for me for that place. I think it was a friend of ours, my mate Dermish, who's friends with Charlotte, and I remember he goes, look, Charlotte said she wants you to come and play, but it's going to be on New Year's Eve. They want me to play at the Covent Garden one and then get a taxi across. Yeah, no pressure. Covent Garden one and then get a taxi over to the Heron Tower. Man, what I was wearing was drenched by the time I finished because I didn't know. Imagine walking into there first time. It's New Year's Eve, which is the most craziest time to be in the Heron Tower. I've done it New Year's Eve 3 times now, and it is the most craziest time to be playing at Casa de Samba, or should I say Sushi Samba. And I remember just sweating buckets. But after that, they liked it. And ever since then, I've just been playing there regular. And it just feels like it's like a second home. You know, again, I walk into there and I'm thinking, am I taking a mickey? I'm getting paid to enjoy and have this amount of fun. Like, sometimes you have to pinch yourself, like, because they make the staff, everyone's amazing. They make me feel so comfortable. Every DJ or performer, whoever, dancers, everyone's just like a vibe. And it's always a vibe. And the crowd there, they seem to love it. So, yeah, man, big shout out to
really
them.
good crowd. Really good crowd. And I think they're having a rebrand, aren't they, now?
Yes, right now, I think so. Which is, at one point, some people were like, because that was a good gig, you know?
Yeah. Social
media looks good when you put Sushi Samba on there. My friends, when they used to come, they felt so honored, even though they didn't need to be. But they're like, wow, thank you for bringing me here. This is amazing. I'm just like,
it's
all good, man.
Aesthetically pleasing, isn't it? Very aesthetically pleasing.
I mean, look, one of like New Year's Eve, right? I'll share this with you. New Year's Eve, when it goes off, when it hits midnight, I'm not much of that, have much sentiment for New Year's Eve. I used to back in the days, but I think I've just rinsed it and I just can't deal with the cost of it, right? But when you get paid, that's a different thing. New Year's Eve just come back into it like, yeah, it's all right, New Year's Eve, all of a sudden again. But anyway, when the clock strike midnight and everyone's a Happy New Year, you look around because you're on the 39th floor and you got the 360 view and it is popping, bro, with fireworks everywhere. Yeah. I've never seen it like that. You see, in your area, you might hear a couple going on, but when you're on the 39th floor, you got this whole view. London is popping when they go. I didn't realize how many fireworks people proper have it, but man, it is popping. What amazing sight! What amazing view! But yeah, bro, you know what we're gonna do now? Because I want my listeners, and even myself, because I've only met this guy once, you know. We chat on social
You know
media.
what? So today is a chance to get to know each other because
Yeah, brother.
we talk quite regularly. I always
Yeah.
see your posts, you see
Same
mine,
here.
and
Yeah.
I feel like I've known you for years, but I
Bro,
haven't.
this is what I'm saying. So let's go back. Now we're going back. Way back. Back into time. When you're back, where did you grow up? When did you know your vibe with music? What gave you the first little, ooh, this, I like this.
I was actually, when I knew I was coming on here, I was thinking, I need to think about these things because I want to give a good, precise answer. I mean, I grew up in East London.
Okay.
You can probably hear. I was born in Stepney Green, Bethnal Green. For anybody who doesn't know them areas, it's kind of synonymous with the Cray twins.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so I pretty much grew up in East London, and I would say my musical influences purely come from my mum. You know, I grew up in the 80s. There's the first clue for my age.
All right.
Listening to to Whitney Houston, Diana Ross, all the great old, you know, the Soul Train music from like the 70s and 80s, Earth, Wind and Fire, Shalimar, all these types of bands. So that's where music kind of hit me first. So there was always music playing in the house. And then obviously growing up in urban London, you're quickly introduced to things like jungle music in the 90s. And then I was so lucky that I was around at the birth of UK Garage, where it transferred over from the US to the UK. And I never forget like the moment that I kind of wanted to become a DJ was 1997. I was very much into like Oasis, all the boy bands around at them times. House music hadn't really hit me yet. I was 14, 15 years old and I was bunking off school one day. I don't care who knows about this now. I was bunking off school one day. I was sat in my friend's cousin's flat in Poplar, 96, 97, and my friend just walked in with his cassette tape and he was like, lads, you've got to listen to this. And he put this cassette in the deck and it was Tina Moore, Never Let You Go, the two-step version, the beginning. If people can't resonate with that right now, go and Google it. Tina Moore, Never Let You Go, Kelly G Bump and Go edit. And that was it. I was hooked after that. I was like, what is this music? It's just, we sat and listened to that tune over and over for a good hour. And it was just, and then, I think if you remember Tough Jam, Carl Tough Brown and Matt Jam Lamont, Carl is actually a good friend of mine now, who I've connected with in the last few years.
Tough Enough Brown.
I'm going to show him this podcast and he might get embarrassed about some of the things I say about him later. But they brought out a CD called Tough Jam Frequencies and that just went off. And then obviously Garage just blew up in London, didn't it? And across the capital. And yeah, I mean, we used to go to the record shops and buy tape packs as they were back then. So anytime there was a rave or an event, it would get recorded on DATs, DATs, and then put over into cassette tapes, and you were allowed to go into the shops and buy it. So you had like tape packs of all the Garage Nation and Exposure and things like this. And DJ EZ was the one for me. That's where it all started. That's how I got into DJing. It was just like listening to the tape packs of him and thinking, I want to do that. I need to do this. And yeah. I don't want to jump too far ahead.
Bro.
That's where it all started.
Do you know what, bro? Because you said, all right, that's your bit of Garage, yeah? That's your little bit of intro. So
we're the same age, aren't we? I know we are.
We must be, brother. Right? Because when I'm going to drop this to you as well, we'll see if we work this out and see if the listeners can work this out. So when I was at high school, I was about 14, 15, I think. And my mate, Michael Ford, haven't spoke to him for years, but if by chance you listen to his bro, I still remember he came in with the Walkman and we put the earphones up our sleeves because we was in science class. So we're just leaning on our hand like, la, 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 standard. And I hear this tune. Let's get close. Closer to the close. And I was like, what is this? He goes, it's my sister's tape. I think they're calling it garage. I'm like, bro, where can I get this? He goes, man, I think she could get some stuff where you can listen on pirate radio. So I came back home. I got my old cassette player with the radio. And I was twisting the knob till I found, I think, the station which was playing garage. Bro, just to show my commitment, I was outside the window of my bedroom, got the reception. And I thought, right, press record and play. And I stood there for an hour recording that pirate radio station. I came into school the next day, and I remember I went to the music room, turned up the speaker, press play, and dropped some tunes. Everyone raving. And that vibe, what it done for, what would you say the scene? Like, the scene was, before that, it was jungle. And jungle for me was like moody, like proper moody back in the days.
I was too young to appreciate the actual raving scene at that time. I just lit my party in life at the age of 16 and 17 literally was the birth of UK garage. So jungle, I loved jungle music, but I never experienced the actual going outside of it. And I heard it was getting to a stage where it was a bit, you know.
I was too young. Yeah. There was like a couple of like school discos where they'll drop a couple of remixes which have the jungle beat in there. There was a Jamiroquai one. Or what was the famous, with all my heart, I love you, baby.
That's MB, isn't it?
That's the one.
Yeah, Sweet Love, MB and Naslin.
Bro,
yeah, love that tune.
When I was at disco, everyone was just waiting for the switch just to do their little skank. But I wasn't out there like enjoying going out there, experiencing the jungle. But you used to get the taste of the vibe, and it used to hear it used to be pretty moody back then. And then I used to get from Wembley Market. I used to get the tapes, which you get a tape pack of Jungle Mania or something like that, and you'd be listening to that, and you'd be sitting around with my cousins, and we'd all be trying to MC, and we loved 𝐦𝐤𝐵𝐷 back then. 𝐦𝐤𝐵𝐷 had his name.
Yeah,
rest in
God
peace.
rest his soul. I know,
Man.
what a legend. Yeah,
Man, bro, the memories I've had with that guy as well. The memories, like that energy. We always talk about us and maybe myself on the sax, but when him, Shabba, my MC was MC Fearless, all of that back in the days when they used to get on, and you got the DJs. Man, they used to squeeze us to levels. But that came after garage because I started going out raving to garage, and garage is all like, it was weird going out in shoes. Do you remember the days they wouldn't let you in because you had shoes on?
So from what I gather back, like garage started off as a room 2 thing in a lot of the jungle raves, and a lot of the jungle guys were dressing up in tracksuits and training. I mean, that's how people dress up now a lot of the time to go out. But garage was just completely different. You had to wear shoes, like you say, trousers or jeans, a nice shirt. You wanted to put your best aftershave on. People would go into the club before VIP existed, being VIPs. You know what I mean? Drinking bottles of Moet. You had like Rio Ferdinand, David Beckham going to the raves and all this, and it was a fun time. When you look back, it was probably a bit obnoxious, to be honest with you. But
I mean, the whole champagne thing, bro. Yeah, I hear you.
I know.
The champagne thing was funny because you see the guy walking around the club with a bottle of champagne, like big timer, and then you drive past him and he's at the bus stop. Like he spent all his dough just on the champagne, you know, just to floss it just to look good. The dancing used to make me laugh with garage as well, bro. Like dancing back in the day, there was those moves. Like I always said to someone, if you want to explain garage, imagine you're in a small box, but you're not allowed to touch the sides. So you just keep everything tight. Like everyone's just tight. And then when you see someone, you do that little low one, the fingers coming out. Man, bro, like some of the best memories of growing, like teenager, going around with my mate DJ, Paulie Smalls, which I was saying. Us thinking we were MCs, going around MCing at parties. You could be saying anything. As soon as you had a mic, whoever's listening is coming over like, oh my God. And I could be saying the worst lyrics. I could be saying, Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? And they're like, oh my God. It was like, you were just falsely living this kind of ego that you're somebody. But it was great. It was innocent. And I would never change one bit about it, brother. One bit. And then after that, actually, I got into raving.
I think if anyone wants to understand where we're coming from, what we're talking about, just go on like YouTube or any video engine system out there now. Just type in Sun City video like from 1998, and you'll see everything that goes on. It was amazing, amazing time.
Sun City. You know what? You just jogged my memory
Sun
for
City, yeah.
my mate Perry, who was like, we were all MCing back then, but he was quiet in the background. He didn't MC.
Yeah.
But he was always writing on the pad. But anyway, he went out to Napa just to do some work out there. And I come in and I was watching this series. I'm probably going to repeat this plenty of times on this many different podcasts, but it's definitely an iconic moment because Flavor was hosted by Creed MC. Yeah. And I'm just there. I think it was a drunken night. I come in, I'm just having my munch, sitting there. And they were doing some MC competition. And my mate Perry won it. And you know when you're looking at something like... and
double taking.
Then, yeah, I'm like, is this for real? Like, have somebody spiked my drink or something? Like, is this a dream? The guy never MC'd once to us. Went out there, won the competition, became MC Decoy, and was legendary MC for the fantasy boat party. Now, anybody listening, and you want to know what that's about, it made a double spread on the Daily Star, which is a UK paper here. Yeah. Because it was raunchy.
Yeah.
Bro. And and the stuff, which I'm definitely not sharing. So don't even go on there, yeah. But I'm telling you, that party and the stories I heard, jeez. And a couple of extra mates to our crew. Perry met out there, and now they're part of us as well, like a whole unit of us. So the music kind of solidified a lot of us together, you know, and we're still, which is great. We're still friends now and all that. So the DJing now, if I come back to you and the DJ, when did that first bit you thought, you know what, I want to have a go with this? And what was your first setup?
As I said, 15 years old. I wasn't even out of school yet, and I was listening to these tape packs, and a few of my mates at the time had decks, and this was at like the kind of embryo stages of Rinse FM as well, as we touched on earlier, like pirate radio stations. I mean, everybody knows Rinse FM now. It's one of the biggest sort of underground stations about, you know. Yeah. But back then it was set up in tower blocks in Poplar or Bow and places like this. So my mates were like, going here, going there, going up to these pirate radio stations. There was always girls there and people having a drink and a smoke, and you want to be a part of that. And I thought, yeah, I need to get involved in it. So somehow scrimped and managed to get £300 together around 15, 16 to buy a 2 belt drive Gemini decks and a 2-channel Blue Dog Newmark mixer. That probably would resonate with a lot of people. Bro, my age out there who got into DJ.
Bro, totally.
And I went to Rhythm Division in Bow, which is a record shop, a really famous old garage and jungle record shop. Bought 7 vinyls, and I set the decks up on my bedroom floor with the boxes that they came in, because I never even had a table at that time. And I just was clanging left, right and centre, thinking, I'm the nuts. And then one day, after about 2 or 3 weeks, I kind of clicked my first vinyl mix together, and my head went, you know, and that was it. Right. I was hooked from that day, and it was just like every Saturday, every Friday down to the record shop, meeting people, meeting new DJs, picking up vinyl. I don't even know how I ate, because I never used to have any money after coming out of the record shop. All I was worried about was money for records, and then 30 or 50 quid to go out on the weekend, which was enough to see you through a whole night back in them days. And then touching back on like DJ EZ again, I would go to the raves and I wouldn't even dance when he comes. I would try and get as close to the DJ booth as possible and just watch him like this. What's he doing? What tricks is he doing? And that was it. Yeah, I was stuck from there really.
It's funny because shout out to my friend Lisa Dukas. Shout out to her, because as soon as you would have, if she's listening now, as soon as you would have said EZ, she would have been smiling, because that dude, what he's done to us, me and her, she's like one of my besties, what he's done to us, like that guy, it's just, he was so far ahead with his mixing.
Yeah.
You still listen back to some of his sets, like, what was that? And that's still now. That's why I said he was so far ahead.
That was on vinyl as well, bear in mind. This guy was doing stuff on vinyl that people can't even do on digital now. And that's just astonishing, really.
Right. And then there's like, he's got the famous boiler rooms.
Yeah.
There's always our go-to. If there's a party and you want to put something on into the just a guaranteed pleaser. He put a bit of EZ. He just
100%.
happily pleases everyone. Just gets that vibe going. Yeah. I've seen him quite a few times. A place in Enfield called Eros was one of his famous places. He used to love playing there.
Yeah.
But that's when he introduced me, should I say, and a lot of my lot loved was Todd Edwards, bro.
Yeah.
That was it. Four to the floor. That four to the floor.
Todd Edwards.
Man.
Yeah.
Dude, that vibe, risky if you think about it, because it had its own entity in that scene. But EZ was sure of that vibe, and all of us bought into it. Like, loved all of that four to the floor, and all of us, like, as soon as you come on, you just knew it was a Todd Edwards track. And Todd Edwards actually came down to DJ at Eros. And
used to be called Time and Envy, right?
That's correct, brother. I think you're right there. I'll definitely have to double check. So don't hate me, anyone listening. But I think you could be correct there, brother. And then I remember again, I think it was like something, I can't remember what it was, Fly or something signed by Todd Edwards, like a proper fanboy. And he left me, said, God loves you. And then I looked more into it, and then I heard he's really religious, which he didn't understand. It's not the image in my head of what I thought Todd Edwards was back then, because we didn't have the net. So all you had this name. But when I met him, he was totally not what I expected, for how I expected him to be, look, and his presence. But taught me a lesson. Do not judge a book by its cover. And no judgments here. Every man for himself. I just want to say thank you to him and EZ for introducing that to us, man, because that was a big part of a lot of my crew's life. Anyway, Todd Edwards.
Big time. I think, like, Todd would even say it himself. He never expected to be big in the UK, but he made this brand of music very heavily sample based, and was like not your traditional US house. It was very chopped up, and that kind of just translated over to the UK. DJs were just pitching it up a few BPM, and it was like, bang, this is four to the floor garage, and then also the guys like Carl Tough Brown, Matt Jam, Lamont. These guys were also massive champions of Todd Edwards, even before EZ, to be honest with you. And then EZ's the one that kind of brought Todd into the mainstream, and it just blew up from there, really. So
I've got
Todd still going today, still going strong, man.
Man, salute to you, bro. It's like salute to Todd, and for the memories and being there out in America and not in the mix, not knowing how. Well, he did know, but at the beginning that he was going to be this big in the UK. Yeah, like legendary status, especially for the garage, for all of our generation. Now, we got EZ obviously pioneering for the garage, but you, in the drum and bass scene, which all my lot got into, we turned into proper drum and bass heads when we were about 17, 18. We used to go to the 𝐥𝐤𝐬𝐬, all the raves you can think of, any festival, whatever. Andy C, bro.
Yeah, he's still going strong as well.
He's like, amazing. To me, he's the EZ of drum and bass.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Like, I remember, and it's funny because I live in Brighton, but when I first saw Andy C, was at a festival called the Central Festival in Brighton. And I remember traveling up to this place thinking, it felt so far away. When you do it now, it's nothing in the car. But you felt like you're proper out the end. You branch out of London, you come to this festival, all that. Back then, it was hype. Hype was number one, I would say.
Yeah.
But this kid came on, Andy C, and he didn't clang. Now, even the big boys, you might have heard a little bit of a clang or something, but everything this guy seemed to be doing was clean. And it stood up, and I always thought, who is this guy? I think a couple of years later, he got voted number one, and pretty much just held on to the title, pretty much. Maybe there's some new cats, which I hear, which are coming up at the moment, which it's like he's not done his time, because I never want it to end, but he's done a lot for that scene. And again, more memories, which I always look at. You got EZ for the garage, and Andy C for the drum and bass. But this kind of nicely links on to this next section, because I'm a late bloomer to Ibiza, bro. Have you been to Ibiza?
I'm booking another trip on Wednesday to go there.
When you say another trip, right, I want to go with the numbers here. right? I want to go with the numbers here. How many times have you been to Ibiza?
The first time I went to Ibiza, I was barely out of my teens. So sort of late 90s, early 2000s. I've probably been there 5 or 6 times since. Which is not a lot as some people have been there, but believe me, it's a lot when you consider the place itself. It's just, yeah.
This is what I'm saying, bro. This is what I'm saying, man. That place. It's like when you come off the plane. It's like you make it like a little, I don't know. It's like you have to give a piece of yourself to the island, knowing that you're not getting it back.
Yeah.
And I've been 9 times. And I was a late bloomer. Right?
Yeah.
I think the first time I went there must have been about 23, 24. Maybe. I'm trying to guess around at about that age. Because back then, I'll be honest with you, bro, just going back to your point, I was so focused on my music equipment. I didn't spend any other money except for on equipment. I didn't bother like clothes, fashion, whatever, trainers, whatever. It was all on equipment. Yeah. So Ibiza was well out of it. I was thinking, I ain't paying that money. I used to hear about the price. I'm like, ain't happening. But one day, one of the boys said, look, we've got to go and try this, see what this is about, and so on. So went there, and I was like, I get it. Loved it. Went to space for the first time. Understood why they called it space. You know what I mean? Got lost there.
I was going to mention that if you didn't.
Yeah. Bro, that place, I mean, I saw the
transition. Especially out on the terrace, you know, where you go in there at 8 o'clock in the morning. To try and fathom what that actually means, you need to go there and understand what it means to be in a rave at 8 o'clock in the morning. Out in the open, under the netting, they'd have like performers on stilts there, and if you've been out all night, that kind of thing looks you know.
Yep.
Every 5 minutes there'd be like space was on the flight path of Ibiza airport, so every 5 minutes you'd have a plane coming over and everyone would be cheering, and you'd have like guys that who are like untouchable now, like David Guetta and all these boys. They were up and comers at that time, playing out on the terrace, and it was good times, really good time.
Bro, the memories. That's why I thought it'd be great, because obviously we're in that same kind of scene. But I think anyone.
And I'm going there this year for the first time in about 6 years. So yeah, it's funny you brought that up, because I'm booking the tickets in about 2 days.
Bro, right now I just want to bless you. You know, because
you'll be out there with me. What?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something, right? I'm on a mission this year to get a lot more international gigs, because I've learnt my trade here, no problem. But I want to get out there, make some noise, because the female saxophonists are killing it. Yeah, and you know they've got the look. They dress 100% better than us brothers. You know what I mean? They've got all the look, man. Secret.
You've definitely got the look. Like, you stand out amongst the crowd as well, you know?
That's
definitely. You got the dreadlocks. You got the sort of like the fair skin with the freckles and you know, the saxophone. It's a good, like, if you was to put your look into a logo, it would translate, you know? It would be like the Jordan. You know, the Air Jordan sign and all that.
Can't even compare. I appreciate that, bro. I'll pay you. I'm going to pay you after this, for them comments, man. They're big comments. But yeah, I want to get out there. I'm a bit cheeky. I'm thinking, right, them girls on the saxophone, they've had their time. Like Lisa, lovely Laura, not Lisa, lovely Laura, which is like
she's the one that
top one.
Does Ben Santiago, that they go side by side, right?
Yeah, that's the one, brother. Yeah. That's the one. Yeah. I think they're married altogether. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, she started the whole thing off. I salute her. Like, lovely Laura, big up to you.
Pioneer.
You open up the door, pioneer. And then obviously having socials, you start to see a lot more of all the different kind of saxophonists out there. You see the other female saxophonists, and you got a crew, you got a drummer, you got... like, I think there's 3 of them as well. There's 3 girls which do out there, and they're always wearing their sequin. Girl on sax is the one that represents, but there's 3 of them. But I just thought there's a niche, and I'm going to try to get myself in there, bro, you know? And I want to make some noise, and it's funny, we'll talk after, but definitely let me know your dates, because it'd be great. if I can align, if it aligns, and I just could sneaky come out there, because I would love to go out there, go to venues and say, look, let me give you half an hour for free.
Yeah.
You let me know what you think. Vibe. Just let me get a foot in the door, and I'll do the rest after that, brother. Yeah. Back to Ibiza. Amazing.
Perfect place for saxophone, I think.
Oh, it's just one of those I just need to tick off the list. Otherwise, I don't feel like my journey with the whole sax thing has been completed unless I've managed to get out there and not just play with just a little bar. I want to get to the big one and just kind of get onto the big smoke machine, the big drop, the big crowd, and then I say, job done.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for my 30th, one of my memories as well, for my 30th birthday, 22 of my mates, we hired out a villa in Ibiza. 22 of us flew out.
Wasn't it?
It felt like one day, bro. I think we got there, whether it be Thursday or Friday, and left on Sunday, but it just felt like it all blended into one. It was the most amazing villa. One of those amazing memories. We've done so much. Jaguar skills. You've heard of Jaguar skills?
Yes.
So I was a big fan of him back in the days, like just because of his attitude when we was around Camden Palace, when he used to play. I just loved his energy and his vibe. And on my birthday, when we got to Ibiza, I didn't know. We went to space and Jaguar skills is there. And I just thought, thank you. Universe, thank you very much, because that guy, and he points at you, then he gives it some of that, like, yeah, you want some, and it riles me up. I'm like, yeah, what you got? So that was a great way to start it. The whole weekend was absolutely messy, because my lot are called the messy crew, so it was inevitable. We were proper carnage back then. And then I think we've done this photo at the end, and there's a hot, like, all of us together, because you need one of those moments, all of us by the pool. And
definitely.
Bro, if I'd be honest with you, mate, I knew that was the last one of all of us together. We've done the 20s, like we rock and rolled the 20s, mate. Like we proper lived it up. And I knew everyone's now got girlfriends, having children, married, and you just knew that was the last time of the whole crew being able to get together like that. And I've got the photo now, so it's just one of those memories. But I'm a little bit frustrated, stuck on number 9. I want to hit the double figures with Ibiza. So, bro, I'm going to keep an eye with your day.
I'm going to give you my itinerary later.
Yes, brother. Make sure you do. So that brings it up to old present day. Like, I'm just looking at all your stuff here where you've been playing, so everyone knows. So, Ministry of Sound, Select Radio, 𝐥𝐤𝐤, obviously Sushi Samba we talked about, Powell, Brixton, Box Park, Horse and Groom and Egg, London. Bro, out of all of those, and I don't need you to say which one's your best, but actually which one is your best? Not even to put you on the spot, and not for you that you need to tell me that, but it just, I can say Sushi Samba is my vibe.
Yeah.
Because it fits. Everything fits for me as a saxophonist. There's other venues I've had great times, but it's just Sushi Samba because of its location, the staff, the DJs and all that. It just seems to tick a lot more of the boxes what suit me. But it's hard for me not to enjoy myself at many gigs. But yeah, what would you say out of all of those, bro?
For me, it's never about the venue. You know, I could play in the biggest club in the world, and I could play in a phone box with a bunch of pigeons. If the pigeons are bringing the energy and the vibe, that one will always resonate with me. So there's been just to run it back a little bit, obviously, like connecting my past DJing to where I am now, it's two completely different things. I mean, I stopped collecting vinyl and stopped DJing in the early 2000s because for people who know about the UK garage scene, it really took a big dip in the early 2000s and completely died out. And that was around my mid-20s when I started going out a lot more, having a girlfriend, spending my money in different places. And I kind of shunned, which sounds crazy now, but I shunned the DJing. I kind of pushed my vinyl collection to the side, ended up getting rid of most of it as well. And I completely came out of it altogether. And it was only the last 2 to 3 years, actually just before the pandemic, where I thought I want to go back into this, but I want to do it as a career now.
Yeah.
And then pandemic came, and then I came back to the UK, and I took up DJing again in January 2022. And since then, the ascension's just gone right up. Everything that I've manifested in that time has happened for me, and will continue to do so, because I'm a massive believer in all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Love
like, there's been a few gigs that have stood out to me since, and number one is the one that we played at together. You know, like I said, that whole kind of evening just came together perfectly. That whole set came together perfectly. The energy just aligns. Looking back on the videos, everyone was just having a banging time, and it was fantastic. And probably the other one that stood out was last summer at the Ministry of Sound, which they're not normally synonymous with doing day rates. Steve Aoki, which is like one of the biggest names in the world, even outside of DJing, he did an event there, and I was lucky enough to play on that bill, and it was just chaos that day. And, really, really good.
Okay.
But I also enjoy my time on radio as well, which is something that I also manifested getting into, and I've been doing that for a year now on Select Radio.
And just to let everyone,
94.4 FM.
That's about to say, bro, plug that, because I saw that as well with Select Radio. You're a presenter as well as DJing on there, so wicked.
And I really love that side of it. That's actually I alongside the DJing and, DJing in clubs and that, I love presenting. I love the whole build up to the week. I think it's taken me from there to like there in terms of connections and getting to know a lot of producers, building up relationships with record labels, other artists and stuff, because now everybody wants to send, you're a taster maker, you're people that labels want to approach and say, got this new music. They know you're going to be playing it, feeding back and stuff. I really, really enjoy that. So that's another thing. Select Radio has been really good to me so far.
Yeah, I think it's good. I've seen that multiple. It's funny because having the Instagram, you get to have all those little, you can save your little stories into categories. Yeah. And when I first got into Instagram, obviously it was right at the beginning. And then when I started and then I look back and I feel like, yeah, you're doing all right. You've done quite a bit with the different places and that. And that's why I got to check out your stuff. When I was looking on you, I was like, okay, check out Ministry of Sound. I haven't played there. I've been there raving. Quite a few times, but I remember that used to be like south, and I was originally from northwest. So we always think, oh, that's a mission to get down there, and then a mission to get back. So it's not a place I always went to. We kind of stuck towards the northwest side, so we like the Camden Palace, the like Egg Club, bro. Because I'm not sure if you wouldn't know this, but I used to be a promoter for my own event called Under One Roof. And we used to do boat parties on the Thames.
Nice.
And they were awesome days, bro. Like, I'll send you links. You get to see all the videos. Young Ruben with an afro. You know what I mean? Each like event had different themes. So one's 80s, one's 90s, one's nerds, one's like wear your favorite color, whatever. And we had the Rat Pack on there, Brandon Block.
Nice.
We had
some names out there. Wow.
Well, they went back then. That was then like, wow. You look back, you're like, oh, cringe, because not about them, but it's just about how we were like in awe of them. We were just so young. And all you were doing is like, your lot were like, oh my gosh, you got Brandon Block. Yeah, we're coming down. And it was so much stress, like putting on events. Have you ever put on events or tried to do anything like that yourself?
No, but that is actually something I do want to get into this year.
Bro. Wicked.
I'm not talking big scale or anything like that, but I just feel like it's another opportunity to open more avenues, to meet more people.
Bro, let's talk, because I'm all about that.
Constantly putting strings on your bow. I think it's really important in any freelance industry. You've got to diversify
100%.
what you're doing.
Oh man, look, one thing what saved us with the whole Under One Roof, or the timing. I wouldn't say saving. It's not like we were crashing, but early days, we had to do the flyering and go out to the streets and just be like, get used to this, people turning you down. Rejection. Yeah. Right? My mate used to do it with me, used to have to drink a bit just to be able to handle the rejection. So then Facebook kicked in. And my girlfriend back then was like, oh, you should join this thing called Facebook. Didn't know why she was making me join it. I clocked it from the time she started questioning, like, "Why? Who's that person you just added? Who's that person you started chatting?" I'm like, "Ooh, this is dangerous, bro."
Yeah.
But then I found out that you can press that one button, and the invitation goes out to everyone.
Such a powerful tool.
That was it, man. Back then, and me doing the boat parties and the promotions, are all like 5 years. I found a party. It wasn't something I planned. It just fell on our lap, and Under One Roof just came with. One day we just put on a party for our mate on the boat. I brought all different DJs with different styles. And at the end of the party, someone walked out and said, "It's amazing having all styles under one roof." And I looked at my mate and I'm like, boom, we've got a name. And we started doing nights. Camden Palace, Camden Town. There's a place called Lockside Lounge where we kicked off and really built our name. And we didn't have any big names there. It was just giving all our mates the opportunity to be able to play out.
You don't need massive names. I think that's such a big misconception about you need a huge name to come and fill a bill. But no, you just need a good crowd, a small, rabid following of people, and then it will just slowly expand through word of mouth and stuff. And then all of a sudden you've got the hottest ticket if you put in really good events with DJs who know what they're doing. Look at Sushi Samba.
Bro, vibes.
You don't see massive name DJs up there. You might get the odd one now and again, but I can safely say that I've never seen a bad event there.
Well, it's funny because if you look at people, me meeting you, I've met the duo act Sunana that you know as well, right?
From Select.
Right, and I've done a track with them called Sax Machine.
I've seen that, and I was highly impressed.
Like, again, just like yourself, I only met them once. We were talking on socials. Second time I met them, I was in the studio playing the sax.
Amazing.
Third time they made contact with me, Sax Machine was created.
Love it.
It was just madness. And again, that's why Sushi Samba is special to me, because I've made some real good connections there with some artists and DJs, performers, and big shout out to them, Sunana. I'm gonna be doing a podcast with them as well, which is I'm very
bundle of energy, aren't they? Bundle of energy. Yeah.
And they came down to Brighton and we was doing the whole videos and all that for socials, and it was so good to meet them. So good to be around them. Like you said, that energy is, and I know Anna used to, I think plays flute.
Sunana, isn't it?
Sun, and then Anna, and then the two names. Because at first I didn't, and I know they're cool with this, but I didn't know they were a couple. Sometimes you don't want to make that judgment.
All right.
Right. So they're when I met them, and they're married, dude.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So I was just like, makes sense. And they told me the whole story, which you'll probably hear on the podcast because I'm going to get them to share that story. But they all make sense and their positive energy of what they want to bring to the music industry, just like yourself, just like me. These are the collectives which can like really resonate with everybody else and really create a vibe. So I hope one day all of us get to do something together and we can create an energy at a venue or location where we can put things together and that. So okay, that kind of nicely puts me into the next part, because you were saying you want to obviously put on events. Where would you like to see yourself like in a couple of years' time? What's your targets and where would you like to go? Are you just going to go, I'll just deal with the present and see what happens?
We could go deep here, couldn't we? I mean, when I got back into the music scene with a serious head on my shoulders, I set myself little mini goals throughout the year, or 3 or 4 big targets that I want to hit by the end of the year. So year 1, it was like, I want to play my first live event, which I did, something really small. Then I said to myself, I want to play at the Ministry of Sound. How am I going to do that? And I did it. Then just year 2, I said, I want to be on FM radio. Something aligned for me. I managed to get on Select. So what does the future like this year for me? The progress is it probably won't be visual to the eye. And what I mean by that is it won't be this massive thing on social media where it's like, look at James, he's up there now, he's doing this. For me, progress is going to be behind the scenes, as we touched on at the beginning. The production thing for me is the biggest thing now. I'm learning how to play the piano.
Love that.
I've been learning how to produce music behind the scenes, and I think this is something really important that I wanted to bring up today, is that I feel like there's a massive dearth of really great music around in the modern era. And I think that's because everybody's got a 15-second mindset. Like TikTok has made everybody accept mediocre music, and it's so easy to put music together these days with sample-based stuff and computers and that. And I want to make sure that when I leave this industry in 25 years, 30 years time, or this planet, I want to be remembered for making great music with real instruments and, stuff that stands the test of time. So that's where I want to head in the next few years, is, become a great producer and touch people's hearts, and the rest comes along with it, doesn't it?
It's like I didn't want to be that guy to show my age, you know what I mean, and start pointing out, and I'm going to be the same as you, pointing out things like TikTok, people's attention span, the music we're hearing. We grew up, and I don't know if the generation above us said the same, but we did grow up in a serious era of music. If you look at the artists which represented their own style, their own brand, we was in abundance back then. Do you remember? It was like, you can even see that Live Aid and all the people that get on there, you know what I mean? From Queen, Michael Jackson, Metallica. We were just in this era where, and the artists, like you said, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, like we was just overloaded that we thought it was the norm, back then. But you'll listen to some of the stuff like on the radio, which I don't listen to radio unless I'm just doing a bit of research, because it's just, I'm not resonating with a lot of the music out there. And just like yourself, I'm into production as well. I'm on a mission. I've got tracks I want to work, because I've got an amazing vocalist, my mate James, who lives around here. I've been always looking for a male vocalist. I've worked with so many female, but it's very rare for me to find a male vocalist, which is just ticks all the boxes, and he does. Yeah. So we're working on a couple of projects, and also to let you know, I'm looking to get into this music library stuff. We're trying to do stuff for TV, film, adverts. I've got a lot of studying to do, because that's another passive income I would like to start the ball rolling for a long-term investment towards myself, because I've opened the door with the sax. Yeah. The sax is giving me time to be able to write more music and to put a lot more time into music, and that hopefully I can build up a library of all different tracks for myself to upload to their music library, and hopefully some big company in this beautiful world, hopefully it'll happen, and somebody will just go, oh, here's 10, 20 grand, and I hope that can be a path that opens up. I know, just like yourself, I set these little targets and I always achieve it, because I'm very determined when I put my mind to something. In this line of work, especially with what we do, as individuals, what we want to achieve, you have to have a steely focus. And I think part of the podcast as well is for me to build up an audience, a following, because I thought it'd be great for engagement. I've always avoided trying to, what can I say? I've always avoided these conversations, because I thought, am I that person? But if you see me in the social environment, everyone's like, dude, you are that person. You're the one who's always chatting in the room. You're the ones that I could be on the phone to my dad. Like, me and my dad can chat for 2-3 hours, like, no problem. And you probably realize it now, because you probably didn't know what to expect. I like it, do this for days, bro. I like it.
And I feel like not enough people throw themselves into uncomfortable situations these days as well. We live in a world where everybody's living in a marshmallow. Everyone wants to be mollycoddled and get stuff handed to them. But you know what? Sometimes you've got to go out there. You've got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. In an industry like this as well, you've got to be willing to take rejection on the chin and use it as a positive and a bit of fuel. And if you have the right work ethic and you love what you do, you will succeed and you will get to where you want to get to. And don't expect things to happen overnight. There's who put that saying out there that there was someone like that, I think it was a movie star or a singer or something, was like, I became an overnight success in 20 years or something like that. But what he was alluding to was, it took me 15, 20 years of unseen stuff to make me an overnight success. So, you know, I feel like, you know, if you've got all of them things going for you, you can't fail.
Bro, and it's, you know what, it's that mindset. It's really strange because I feel a lot happened without getting too deep in COVID for a lot of people. You had two choices. As you could say, you could go backwards, hence the name Build Back, right? Or you could say, it's time to make a move. It's time to do a change. Now, you said, if I remember correctly, 2022, you said you started to get the DJing back and all that. Because while you're in that period, if a few changes needed to happen, you had time with yourself, everything stopped. The world stopped. Like, we're going to look back at this in history. Like, there'll be the next generation thinking, those guys were there when the world stopped.
Yeah.
And in that period, I had to think, it's time to do a move. And I moved down to Brighton because I thought, this is an opportunity to change. I needed somewhere where I thought, right, new start, because this, wherever this is, it's done. Now, with the thought process, just like yourself, moving forward, it was like, right, I've woken up now. I'm pretty tired of the system. I needed to find something that I can do this. Instead of doing the grind, I need to find something with my skill that I can benefit. And through that, it took some courage to kind of go out there and to kind of show yourself saying, yeah, I believe I'm a decent saxophonist. I believe I can put on a good show for your wedding. I could do a good show for your venue. And it's still up to now, bro. It's still that mentality of mine. And another part of me. So you're getting a real good background of me today, bro. Like before COVID, I was living in the Caribbean for 3 years in Antigua. And this is where the dreads came from because I only had a little afro. And I met out there. I was with a band called Sound Citizens, and we all met out there. When I went there for a 2-week holiday, and then the following year, I just went back out there and said, I'm looking to live there. And I went out there with nothing, with about probably 240 pounds sax luggage, got to the airport, totally shitting my pants when I was at the airport because I'm thinking, I'm leaving everything I know. What am I doing? I'm going to somewhere I don't know, different place, currency, whatever. Different style of living, community. Got out there, and I say, bro, 3 years of my life was probably the best years of my life. Yeah. People always say to me, the first question is, what are you doing back here? Sad thing is, without even going too deep, is the band split. It split prematurely. A lot of behind the scene politics, but I'm going to respect every band member without kind of putting it out there, the dirty laundry. But it didn't need to end. A lot of us, it took a hit. It was hard for us to recover because I thought I was an island boy without, excuse the pun to them boys, because I'm nothing like them. But I was there. I was on the island, and I was set. I didn't see myself coming back to the UK. I had a great community there, great friends, created some great experience. Got to tour the Caribbean, like with the saxophone on a sailboat, like lived the absolute dream. Now, my point coming back without me going too far down path was that changed my mentality with a lot of things. Yeah. Because I took that leap of faith and I made it work. I seemed to realign with myself again. It's strange. I didn't even know I lost myself, but it's just life. You get so soaked up into the system. I kind of lost my true self. And I feel like when I got away from here, and I remember just laying on a hammock and something just hit me. And I'm like, I'm back. Like I was just there. It felt like it was good to be back. And I said to myself, I made a promise that I'm going to hold on to this. And I'm going to value a lot more. I'm going to support myself instead of like a lot of beating up myself. And that changed. That was a big game changer. When I came back here and then COVID hit, I knew I was in a different space. Yeah. And I thought, right, I want to be by the sea because I love the sea in the Caribbean. And I thought, right, I need to get to Brighton. So I got down there.
It's a lovely place, by the way. I did a gig there just before Christmas. It was my first time to Brighton, actually. So I didn't really get to see much, but I definitely want to go back there next year. This year, 2024 already, because Carl Cox is playing there, isn't he?
Oh, bro. I've just been hit up about it. And it's on the 27th. So I looked at my calendar. I'm already booked. I can't believe it. The only date in July, and I am booked for the 27th. I went 2 years
We'll
ago.
find another occasion. Don't worry. We'll find another occasion. Yeah.
But bro, I don't want you to pay for any accommodation. You just hit me up. We got space here, man. Do you know what I mean? You just jam here, bro. Do you know what I mean? Don't even worry, because it's expensive, Brighton. Like, Brighton's proper expensive. So I say to anyone who knows me, yeah, man, if you're coming down here, don't pay for nothing. Just come and jam at my place. But we're definitely...
You're going to have about 1,000 people coming outside your house now, tuning in, listening to this.
There's no... Man, you know what, bro? I'm not even... The whole point, it's funny you saying that, because the whole point of getting here was to stop the knocking on my door, because my place where I used to live back in the days... Oh my God! Me and my friends sometimes used to have to turn out the lights to make out because we lived.
Yeah,
but it's just non-stop because they knew it's like, all right, we know Ruben and my mate was called Driver. We know their place is a party place, you know. But it was cool at the beginning because you were just getting everyone bringing all the alcohol and everything. You're just getting everything for free. But after a while, you just wanted a quiet one, and everyone just know, oh, it's Friday. So here, bro, I don't get any doors buzzing. I don't get anything, man, which is just heaven for me. I could just do my thing. I commute every weekend, obviously, every weekend to go do the gigs, wherever they want me, pretty much. But like I said, I'm booked up all the way to the end of March. What about yourself? Like, for the people listeners, like for them to follow you, it's on Instagram, it's James Foxx. Anywhere else? Obviously, you got Select Radio. What else? Yeah,
so I'm all across the socials, pretty much on the same handle. So I'm actually going to put a lot more effort into my TikTok this year because I feel like, I know we've just been bad mouthing it, haven't we?
Bro, and I feel guilty of that because I need to do the same as well.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a specific reach that they're getting at the moment that Instagram's not getting in terms of numbers. So I'm going to put a lot more effort into that. Also, a lot more effort into building me as a personal brand. So yeah, Select Radio, SoundCloud, Instagram, and come and see me live sometime, you know.
Bro, it has to happen. It has to happen.
Definitely, yeah.
And like, I think this year, it's like I'm calling it the year of chaos. I don't mean that negatively, because I'm always listening to everything what's going on in the world, and there's awakenings happening everywhere. I'm hearing shift right now. Have you heard of a guy called Tom MacDonald? He's an American independent rapper. He has tattoos all over his face. But anyway, he's just brought out this tune with this kind of like political person. He's not a politician, but he's well known. He has all his views on the politics. His name's Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Oh wow, my mom's gonna kill me. She sent me a link to that video the other day.
Bro. When I saw this and I saw the industry where it's going. Like, I was grateful. I just showed my dad it. My dad went down the hole, watching all the different reactions. Like, I'm just loving independent. It's kind of like there's a lot of breaking away now. There's a lot of a shift happening. People are questioning a lot more stuff.
Yeah.
People are challenging more stuff. Like, I didn't realize how far I was asleep until COVID came out. And I think
a lot of people feel the same way.
But again, it was just because we was in a routine, a rhythm, you know. That was it, bro. And in one way, it was like, oh, suppose this is the norm. But when it stopped, it's like everyone woke up like, huh? What happened? Where have we been? Like you've been in a trance or something. And I think for me, right now, there's still a lot of those things happening. I feel connections like this, me and you chatting now, and other podcasts I'm going to be doing. I have a good feeling with this year for whatever you're going to do, I'm going to do, we are going to do. And I look forward to it, bro, man. This has been an amazing podcast for me, brother, especially for me at the beginning. I've just totally chilled.
I appreciate you bringing me on, and I know this is going to be a major success because I feel like you're the type of guy that people gravitate to. So I'm so eager and interested to see how this pans out, you know.
Man, bro.
And one day I'll be back here again in a couple of years' time, and we'll be talking about a major success.
Listen, right, I'm telling you, bro, right. I'm already in my head. You're chatting away and I'm thinking I can see a 3-parter here because I know myself, but we remember the audience we have with their attention span, right? And I've got to be aware of that, right? Because I could go, bro, Like, no problem. I could just keep going, but I thought we'll just give them this first. We just call this a part one.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be more. This ain't going to be the last one, people. So yeah, my brother, big up to yourself. Let's just keep the communication going on the other side. Message me, especially your dates with Ibiza. And yeah,
You're not
big
letting
up
that
for
go,
coming.
are you?
You've opened that door now, and I'm like, all right. I thought I was going on my
Love
own.
that. I love that.
It's gonna be good, and I feel like maybe there's something could be happening there, man. We'll see what happens, but yeah, big up for coming on to FREKS Knows Best. Look after yourself, brother, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.